Okay, welcome to Lucy the Antigua Tarot. My name is Lucy and welcome Tauruses to my channel. So I'm here to do your tarot reading for the month of February 2017. So here we are. Let's see what we have, Tauruses. For you guys, I'm going to pull out 3 cards. Wow, you're starting out with Judgment, a major arcana, and it is the number 20. Nice. And then you have, wow, the 9 of Swords. Okay. And finally, you have the Wheel of Fortune, which is the number 10. Interesting. You have the 10, the 20, and the 9. Strength and the Wheel of Fortune, and then you have the 9 of Swords. So what I would like to do, Taurus, is I would like to first look at the numerology of the cards, see what's going on with them, what it's trying to communicate to you. I think it would be interesting, and let me just kind of straighten these out a little bit for us. And I think I should light that candle, huh? Let's light the candle. There. All right, so now we're ready. The number 20 is a team worker and an effective diplomat with a comprehensive point of view. So 20 is primarily focused on relationships. It understands the dynamics of the relationships better than the essence represented by any other number. So the number 20 is all about idealism, family, health, harmony, and compassion. So the core essence of 20 is the deep down basic essence of this number is the holistic understanding of relationships, and at the same time an inclination to use that understanding to benefit the team. And if we reduce that number, we have 2 plus 0 equals 2. So it's revealed that the basic essence of the number 20 is similar to the number 2. The number 20 also contains the essence of its individual digits, the number 2 again, and the number 0. So we're talking about 2 more meanings that go deeper for you for the number 2 and the number 0. So the number 2 is all about relationships, okay? The number 2 feels extremely lonely when it is by itself. The number 0, or the 0, is the only number that represents all that is, including all potential. Separation doesn't exist. This symbol often is talking about infinite possibilities, all or nothing, anything or other barrier-free idea. 0 is both closed and wide open. It means comprehensiveness, openness, wholeness, and infinity. It's an all-inclusive number, Tauruses. All that is. Infinite, all or nothing. Closed and open. So the number 0 is inherently talking about the ideas of wholeness, inclusiveness, comprehensiveness, infinite potential, and all that is. And then we have the 9 of Swords. So let's look at the number 9. The number 9 is all about being helpful, being compassionate, being a bit aristocratic, sophisticated, charitable, generous, humanitarian, romantic, cooperative, creative, self-sufficient, proud, and self-sacrificing. And it is associated with Virgo, who's an earth sign like you are. And it is attached to the Major Arcana Tarot card of the Hermit. And that is the number 9. On the negative side, the 9 is talking about being egocentric, arrogant, self-pitying, sentimental, discontent, fickle, cold, and mentally unstable. And then finally, with the Wheel of Fortune, let's look at the number 10. Yes, so the number 10 is independent and has infinite potential. Very similar to your number 20. This is a 1-0, the 0 meaning potential, infinite potential, and here you have 2-0. You also have infinite potential. In the numerological aspects of these two cards, these two numbers, okay, that are coming out for you. So the number 10 is a major position, and it tends to be self-determined, feel comfortable being alone, and the experience of exploring, okay? Now, the number's essence can be thought of as the number's basic tone. They might sometimes say vibration. So the number 10 represents a number of characteristics: independence, infinite potential, wholeness, self-determination, and exploration. So the number 10, like the number 20, is made up of 1 and 0. And we already know what 0 means because you got the 0 in the Judgment card, Tauruses. So in the Wheel of Fortune, what does the number 1 mean? The number 1 takes a special place. From a spiritual perspective, if we would like to say it that way, it is the number of creation. It is the primal force or the base from which all other numbers derive. They spring forth. Very opposite from the 0, let's say, which by definition, nothing could possibly come into being, and at the same time it's the infinite number, right? So the number 1 is a doer, a powerful force. It is a powerful force that produces these results and does not allow anything or anyone to limit its potential. So it is aggressive. And this is a necessary energy for creating and producing. Also, the number 1 is always in the forefront, directing and leading. The shape of the number 1 is like a shape of, of someone who walks upright with pride and purpose. It's all about being strong, being determined, unwavering, and going directly with specific goals in mind. And it can turn dreams and ideas into reality. It pushes obstacles aside so that it can go through, so that it can walk through where it needs to go. And that is the number 1. So those are the meanings of your numbers for these cards. Now let's look at the tarot meanings specifically. So now we're going to start with the Judgment, which is at your center, Taurus. In this card is talking about personal transformation. It's talking about how we connect with others, and eventually how that connection can create transformation for the human race. Nothing more than that. And it goes along with the numerological characteristics of the number 20 in terms of like that idealism and compassion, and also feeling very strongly about harmony. This card particularly is talking about the end of an era and the beginning of a new era or a new cycle, a new beginning. And it kind of carries that infinite potential of the zero. Infinite, all-inclusive, wholeness, infinite potential. This new era that's beginning, right, is full of potential. And we're talking in terms of time and humanity. It's very similar to the whole concept of the Mayan calendar and how like the last era was ending in 2012 and we're entering a new era after that. It's kind of that same idea, Tauruses. And I can't help but think of the influence of the number zero, and you have that zero in both of these cards, in both of your major arcanas. But let's just kind of look at this one for now. So the meaning of this card is basically saying, it's basically talking about your journey, the road, your journey of your spirituality, which it's saying that that journey is the journey that you take because you want to look for your own transformation. You know, find that time and space where you can get in touch with yourself and understand your own transformation, your own processes, your own cycles, so that then afterwards you can apply these new revelations to the world and to those people that are around you. And it's a very, very powerful card, and I would say just as powerful as your number zero there. And that's at your center. Okay, Tauruses. Now with the Nine of Swords, it's all about, as you can see in the image, worry, guilt, and anguish. So it's about worrying because you're doubting if all will go well, or you're brooding or making yourself sick over your troubles, or going over and over an issue, feeling anxious and tense and getting worked up. And you might be also getting feelings of guilt and you could be, perhaps you're being a little too hard on yourself, denying that you did your best, or getting overwhelmed. And this creates suffering and anguish because you know, you might be feeling that you've reached your limits, or having sleepless nights because you're suffering and you're just worrying so much, feeling depressed because you feel like it's just not good enough, being really hard on yourself. That's what this card is about. So the Nine of Swords is all about the pain we generate from within. So it's about what tortures we put ourselves through when our fears and our doubts overwhelm us. Worry is probably the most common. Have I done enough? Will everything work out okay? What am I going to do? And these thoughts are go round and round and round, and it's really difficult to turn them off. It is not the most pleasant card to get, but it doesn't always indicate major distress. Often it's just a sign of some element of unhappiness or trouble, a vulnerable spot in your life. This card is often a warning that the path you are going down may be a difficult one. So if you approach this Nine of Swords in this spirit as a cautionary sign, you will be able to use it constructively. Examine your situation carefully and be sure you are making the best choices. Even a small change can make all the difference in the world. And you know, there are those negative aspects to the number 9, as we said earlier. You know, you can get sentimental, self-pitying, discontent, and fickle. Okay, a bit cold. So you want to just focus on the positive traits of the number 9. If this is the case with you, that you're going down a path that may be a difficult one for you, and it's just a cautionary sign for you, and that you will be able to use it constructively. If you think of it as a cautionary sign, and, you know, take time to examine the situation carefully and be sure you are making the best choices. And remember to be charitable and generous. Take those positive characteristics of that 9, you guys. Be helpful and compassionate with yourself also. And stick to your humanitarianism and your cooperation and your creative aspect and your romantic side and your side of self-sufficiency and pride. Okay? And don't get too over on the negative side of this number with this card. That's what I think. Now, let's look at the Wheel of Fortune. You know, it's interesting because after the Wheel of Fortune follows the Hermit. Let me pull that card out for you guys so you guys can see it. So here it is. The Hermit, I'm sorry, it's the number 9. So it would go before the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, that's what's going on here with this. I guess I should put it here before. I'll put it like this. Okay, and why are we talking about the Hermit? Because with the Hermit, there is an initiate's journey into the underworld in search of a fundamental truth. And he's trying to find the light. All right, he's trying to find that inner light, his truth. And the Wheel of Fortune, okay, so when the Hermit finds his path, he can clearly see a vision of the creation, or of a creation in its totality. It's a very, very spiritual journey that's going on here with these two cards, Tauruses. So the Wheel of Fortune is exactly that for the Hermit. You know, he finally sees the vision of the creation in its totality. So the Wheel of Fortune really represents the totality of the universe. It represents our universe. Everything. It's all inclusive, like that 0. All right? Yeah. And it represents everything that's outside of us, and it represents everything that it's inside of us, just like that 0. Okay? And for the Hermit to find the secrets of the universe, he has to first look inside of himself, because the universe that exists outside of us is immense. Um, it is so immense, and it's very difficult to find the secret of the universe. But if we go inward, and if we think of, as above, so below kind of idea, inside of us, we find the model, that model of creation that also applies to the universe outside of us. That's the idea with the Wheel of Fortune. It's a very, very, very spiritual card. There's a lot going on with that card. It's the path, taking the path and finding the light inwards that will reflect outward. You can try to make that wheel go faster, or you can try to make it go slower. It doesn't matter. It still has to go around. And it's going around and working towards the center. So, like I said earlier, the hermit has seen the vision and he tries to understand. Use that information to transform his being, to transform it to a higher level. That is, from being the animalistic self, the ego-centered self, to a more perfected higher self. To be everything at the same time. To kind of incorporate all of those things and balance all of those energies at the same time, basically. And when one is able to do that, it's when we find the light, which is the light of the sun, basically. But that's what this card means. And again, if we kind of make reference to the numbers of that card, the number 10, it is about infinite potential. The urge to explore and finding that wholeness. Yeah. And the number one just intensifies the energies more. And it's about creation. It's about producing results. It's about determination. The number one has a special place there, as we said earlier, right? And it's all about doing. The 0 is all about infinite potential. And the 1 is about the doing, being aggressive, being a leader. And that is your reading, Tauruses, for the month of February. A very spiritual reading that you guys have for February. It might be a time in February to kind of dig deep and do, this deep work that's going to pay off for you. Okay? You guys take good care. Have a very peaceful, nice and quiet month with time to deal with these energies. And I'll see you guys in March. Bye bye.